Yeah,
To select a speaker,
yeah.
what's checked?
Built-in output headphones.
Headphones is checked? It is? Wait, try a
Oh,
different.
dude, my volume wasn't up on the headphones. We're
Uh,
live.
we're live?
We're absolutely live.
Incredible. All
We
this
are
stays in. All this stays in the
absolutely
recording.
live, dude. Wow.
Let's do. Oh, you actually have a glass of wine.
Mm-hmm.
Nice, dude. Very nice. White claw
Cheers.
clink for you.
Excellent. A white claw clink. Arguably the best.
They're not bad. It's the summer of seltzers for sure. And
It is the summer of seltzers. Well, it fits, it just people wanting something laid back with the virus and whatnot.
yeah, dude, they're stuck inside and they don't want to feel bloated all the time, I feel like. Like sometimes when you drink a lot of like craft beer, it's like, wow. I just
It's
ate.
exact sweet tasting things were like less taboo. It's like, yeah.
Yeah. Suddenly, for some reason.
Dude. So are
Well,
we ready? So what were the couple of topics that you were we're already recording, which is sweet.
how do you know that?
Don't you
Does
see
it
it in the
say?
top of your screen?
Yeah, well, I made it. I put it on recording, so
Dude,
yeah.
excellent. So we can
Didn't
just
know it.
start in whenever.
Yeah. Let's let's just jump right in. Welcome
Perfect,
to
man.
the Shoot That Shit Nothing But Nylon podcast. In my yo. Speaking of Rick Ross, let's
Mhm.
start right there with probably one of the biggest upsets in the last, I don't know, 20 to 30 years in the playoffs. I mean, the
Mm.
Miami Heat certainly don't seem like they should have been a 5 seed, but that's what they were going into the playoffs.
Yeah,
You've been actually calling this for a while, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure you said this like
I have.
before the bubble. You were
I
like,
have. I have.
this is the team to watch out for. And
I have.
I wasn't sipping that Kool-Aid, but you can take a
Oh, I
victory lap
was.
on this one.
Thank you. I'll jog it. I don't want to run out of breath. No, honestly, man, the thing is that for a while, they were a team that I felt just had a lot of raw potential. I was talking to someone the other day about how the bubble. It's so funny because you heard a bunch of announcers talking about it and players talking about it, coaches talking about it. That it was a different environment,
Yeah.
and that would kind of bring out, separate the men from the boys and kind of because it's just balling. You know what I mean? There's no element of fans or kind of the pomp and circumstance of playoffs. Like they're just getting,
Yeah.
you know. And so, given that, what Jimmy Butler, to bring it full circle, is
Dude.
showing up, and honestly, I did not think that he was in that top tier
Yeah.
when he went to effectively lead his own team in Miami,
Yep.
but he has proven that well over. And the other thing about Miami, where I think this is what I said, they would match up best against Milwaukee. They have multiple wing defenders. Butler is an elite defender. Iguodala is, a little salt and pepper in the
He's getting
beer.
up there.
But he's got experience, and he's a
He
great defender.
does.
Jay Crowder, is a pretty good wing defender, and Bam is one of the best athletic.
Well, that's why I was gonna say
Yeah.
Iguodala is that's a great point specifically
Mhm.
because a lot of their talent is super young. You got Hero,
Right.
Duncan Robinson, and Adebayo
Right.
are all within their first 2 or 3 years in the league.
Right.
So
And if you look at them, that's such a great point. If you look at them, they have that, almost kind of championship DNA just in a team, right?
yeah,
I mean, they got Pat Riley as a GM, legendary. I mean, you've got Spolstra, looks kind of like a greaseball, but he's a good coach.
dude,
he
he
looks so,
we
he
got to
looks so
circle back
scheming
around to him.
always, just like
I feel you.
It's crazy.
Even going back to those Indiana series back in the day, he always had like this look on his face. It's like
Always
almost a smile, but just like
stay scheming.
my yo.
But no, but yeah, I mean, just to my perspective to kind of wrap it up, you bring up a great point. They have dead-eye shooters in Robinson, Hero. That I think they were the best three-point shooting team in the league going into the bubble. Robinson, Hero, Kendrick Nunn was almost Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, they got shooters.
Yeah. So you Olynyk's a pretty decent stretch three-point shooter.
I hate that dude, but every time he's in the game, I'm like, you're a positive on the floor. Like most of the times I watch him, don't you feel that way? He's always hitting threes, flopping on defense, getting offensive foul calls.
Well, and the other thing is that they're a team that's confident in who they're in their identity, and that they're very gritty. They're very
totally.
Like Butler doesn't shy away from anything. If that's what the bubble playoffs have proven, because even against us, like he was like chip on his shoulder. I remember he had a breakaway dunk and was like, "It's a party," and I was like, "Oh shit."
Oh yes, that was so gangster, dude. I was like, "Damn, I can't even hate him for that. That's hilarious."
I was like, "This is gonna get worse before it gets better."
Like I want to hate this team because I do have a deep-seated. It's not even about the fact that they just swept us. Not even a gentleman's sweep.
It's
just
old school
straight
Heat
sweep where we
Pacers.
barely. It goes back to that old school Heat, and the fact they just look evil. Their jerseys have always looked evil to me. With like
They do.
I don't know.
Dark.
They look like they'd be like the
Villainous.
Mighty Ducks rivals or something. But
they're like Russian team.
Yeah, exactly. That's so perfect. Like the Russians would have dressed like that. But
in
like,
June, they're the team that Ross Ray's on, dude. Ross the Boss Ray.
Some Celtics or some Celtic symbol.
Yeah.
I remember Ross the
He's
Boss
in the
Ray.
locker room. He's like, he's got the stuff.
This kid's got this stuff. I'll fucking knock you out, eh? He's got that. You got the shit, kid. The fucking grind. I've probably gotten this all wrong, but that's what I remember from the movie.
Right. No, but hey, Miami's got the stuff. They got the stuff.
I even kind of hated Jimmy for a while just because it kind of felt like his attitude was always like, I'm just going to outwork you, like on every team. And he kind of was always rubbing people the wrong way. Right. But this team is constructed so perfectly. Feels like everybody is vibing with each other. They're a hard team to dislike, honestly, given
they are.
Yeah, and Jimmy's just really rounded into like a great leader. I think it's been a masterclass by him getting like Hero, playing so well. And
well, the thing I always respected about Butler was if you look at his background, you look at where he came from, like he does have a lot of grit, a lot of heart, right? And I never doubted that. My only contention is, and it can be said in anything that you do. That is all well and good, but at that level, it doesn't matter. That's great, but it doesn't matter unless you're winning.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Which he did well with Chicago. He did well with Philly. Almost got past the eventual champs, the Raptors, with Philly.
That's true. Yeah,
but until this Heat team, I hadn't seen him as that guy. Right.
Yeah. Like the number one.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Can go.
Well, even in that, let's be honest, against what will be back-to-back MVP, Giannis, in this series, Butler's been the best player.
Yeah.
Period. And if you would have asked me going into this series, before the bubble, before everything we've seen, the playoffs, if Milwaukee faces Miami, who's going to be the best player on the court? Well, you'd think Giannis. But that actually, I kind of want to segue that into a topic I wanted to discuss. Do you think that Giannis is overrated based on these playoffs?
Man, such a great question. I want to say no.
Okay, tell me why.
Because I think we've had a large enough sample size of games to say that he is an absolute dominant force. I guess it depends on what you would consider overrated. Do you think he's the MVP of the league this year? Because I think
yeah.
I mean, LeBron's close, but I would say it's. I don't think you'd be wrong in saying Giannis is the MVP. I think he needs a great second fiddle, and Chris Middleton doesn't quite fit the bill. I'd rather have a Beal or like a Chris Paul there, somebody who facilitates. He's a wing version of Shaq, and I think in a league that's very dependent upon guards right now, he needs that second fiddle to be more of a facilitator. Chris Middleton isn't going to play make, is he?
Well,
who else do they have? Eric Bledsoe. Eric Bledsoe is a great driving kick guy, but he can't be the guy you kick it out to shoot the three. You know what I mean?
It's a great point. All great points. And Chris Middleton, I'm kind of on the fence. I mean, he came up really big in that game 4.
He did.
Chris Middleton was a 40, 50, 90 guy this year, I believe.
Really?
Yeah, and he's as a 2 guard is pretty elite in the league, right? So I wouldn't knock him for it. I knock a little bit the coaching because yeah, and I'll tell you why, because I said this while watching. At some point they were shutting down the lane enough, right?
Yeah.
That you've just got to start Giannis off in the paint and let him be Shaq.
Yeah. Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't keep forcing it, trying to send him downhill when that won't work. Or, even worse, allowing him to settle for 3-point jump shots, which unfortunately Giannis has not yet developed as part of his skill set, which when he will, he'll be
and he's unstoppable.
Otherworldly.
Yeah. And he's only 25.
True.
So he got plenty of time to grow.
True. I will say I think he is overrated. And here's why. He hasn't worked on the threes enough to my liking, where it's a consistently good shot for him. He had a game in these playoffs where he was ugly from the free throw line.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm talking like 4 for 12 ugly. And like Giannis, I know you're an MVP, but
yeah,
that's the Wahman family. We have a free throw game, and I'm confident I could go 6 for 12. 6 for 12, maybe 50%. Maybe I'm overconfident. Maybe 5.
Wow.
Wait.
I
think better than 4
flex.
I think better than 4
Chris, 5 of 12. Jeez.
But who?
Somebody's gonna have to challenge you and make you live up to that. But
that's right. Dude, but who knows if the virtual fans would get in my head? One of them's Patrick, like behind the basket, just like.
There's no way. You're going 1 for 12 at that point.
Holds up Rory, dude.
You've got no chance.
Oh, no, I wouldn't.
Them all.
But what were you saying?
I was going to say that I can't argue with any of your points. I guess I still think he's probably moving forward the best player in the league. He has gotten exposed in this series, in the Toronto series. Both have a unique capacity to guard him, given that last year they had Kawhi to use on him and Ibaka, both long defenders. This year they had Jimmy, Adebayo, and Iguodala and Jay Crowder, all pretty good established defenders. So I do think they were uniquely equipped to guard him, but I also don't want to give him a pass based on that. Because if you are the best in the league, you should take that challenge and you should rise above it. And he definitely didn't. So
correct.
I think to answer your question somewhat just on the fence and not really picking too much of a side, I think less of him now than I did before. But I also still think he's probably the best player in the league moving forward.
Well, here's the thing. I want to throw a comparison at you and see what your – riddle me this.
Are you going Pippen?
No.
No.
I'm
Go,
not
RJ.
jumping on that bandwagon.
Okay.
No, I was going to say actually James Harden, in the sense that Giannis to me is a player to this point who is well documented in the regular season, okay, and is phenom in the regular season.
You sure?
But perhaps numbers and also play is better suited to a regular season where you're not playing the same talented defensive team in a 7-game series with Eric Spoelstra as the coach, where they can clog the lane against you every single game. Repeat it, right? You know what I mean? The Bucks are used to playing a regular season game where, I mean, hell, one night they might play the Kings and Giannis is just eating in the
Yeah.
paint, right? So, but when the playoffs roll around, teams can adjust to key in on a specific player. So then the question becomes for Giannis, is he, well equipped enough and talented enough to do what LeBron does, where regardless if they're doubling me or whatever the case may be, always inserting yourself in the game in the right fashion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whether it's an assist, whether it's a rebound, but you have to be. One thing I will say, someone commented on him having bad body language on the bench. Did you hear about that? I didn't see it.
Giannis?
Yeah, I didn't see it, but I don't like that either because
Yeah, because when you're the leader
you're
of
an
that
MVP
team
and you're
too.
well
Yeah.
that and you're an MVP and you're getting paid, blue million to play this game. Don't be soft.
Okay, yeah, but it still hurts to lose. I mean,
Well,
it doesn't
sure,
matter how much money you have in
sure,
the account.
sure.
But obviously, you
No,
wouldn't
it
want
does.
you don't.
Lies.
You're like, you just be sitting there smiling the whole time. You come
After a
out, you're
certain
down
amount of
by
money.
40. You're just like, well, then it gets picked apart for that too. If he comes off the court and he's like all lackadaisical about it,
You
you're gonna
should.
be like, oh, he doesn't care. It's a
I
lose-lose
say
for
no.
Giannis. It's a lose-lose-lose because he's also losing. But
So let's also talk about this with Giannis if we can though. Do you think he
Yeah.
stays or leaves? Just to wrap up
That's
the Bucks.
that's
combo.
the flavor of the week right now, isn't it? That
It is.
he came out today and said that he's not interested in going anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, if you were his PR person or whoever, it's basically a requirement that it comes out and releases a statement like that.
True, but he
And
could have just been neutral.
if I had to put money on it, I would say he probably stays.
Hmm.
But the Heat just had a hell of an audition to get him.
Yeah, they did.
They're going to have a
And,
ton of
Pat
cap
Riley
space coming up. They've got a lot of maneuverability with the contracts they have.
Yeah.
There's a place called New York that's run by, pretty poor ownership, but is so thirsty for a star in that city that if he went there, it would be absolute bedlam. I mean, the way they'd be able to market him there would be off the charts. And if he could attract one other good player, it would be
Madison Square Garden.
Bradley Beal. I just love the thought of Bradley Beal playing with Giannis. I don't know why. I just think it works.
I could see that.
I love Bradley Beal as a player.
Well,
I
was reading. Yeah, well, I was reading an article today, and there was a team thrown out there that I was very intrigued by. Very intrigued. The Mavericks.
Oh shit!
Can you imagine?
Can they do it?
I think that they have to.
They have to gut the roster.
Not even. I think that because they have Luka still on a ridiculous rookie contract.
That would be awesome, but at the same time, I'm almost like that's like KD going to Golden State, but it's not the same, obviously. No, it's not the same.
Yeah.
But it's almost like I would be like, well, why even play the season? I mean, that's too many good players on one team.
I mean,
those were literally 2 of the 3 MVP candidates this year. The guy who won MVP, LeBron, and then Luka, he's only going to get better.
What about the Lakers? What about the? I mean, a bunch of these teams have two potential MVP candidates on a team. I mean, Harden and Westbrook were both MVPs, and they're on the same team. That's my point.
But they
Is that
also have KP.
I know it'd be awesome.
They
Well, they'd be
also have the
incredible.
unicorn.
They'd be incredible, and look at it.
They
It
would.
buys into his idea with at least trying to win. You know, because I'd rather see him. Because think about it. Yes, he could go somewhere like New York and just completely either bring someone with him or try to do it on his own. But really, he's got a pretty good setup in Milwaukee. So if you leave, it's with the idea that you're going somewhere. Another interesting one would be Toronto.
Mm-hmm. I would love that.
Yuri's as good as it gets, and I mean, they're obviously quite different. But remove Kawhi, insert Giannis. Yeah, I'll
Yeah,
take that team.
I send that.
Yeah,
Full send. With Nick Nurse as coach and Kyle Lowry,
yeah,
Fred Van Vliet.
they'd be very, very good.
They would.
Yeah,
Yeah, that would work out great. I mean, if the Mavericks can pull that off, kudos to them. My only objection is I worry for the rest of the league if that happens.
Oh gosh.
I think they would torch everybody. I really do.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what about a healthy Brooklyn Nets if they keep most of their cast?
That's the exciting thing about next year with
Mhm.
Steve Nash as coach too.
Yeah, let's talk about coaching a little bit because there's actually been quite a shakeup, don't you think?
Yeah, I think the Pacers may have lost out on their chance at D'Antoni if there was one. I think the moment was at Game 7. If he lost it, he was probably out.
Oh man.
Now, I mean, he still might be out. Depends. Steve
But
Nash is obviously a great hire. I mean,
Steve Nash is a great hire. I don't even think people really knew he was even an option.
yeah, I literally
Just came out of the woodwork.
all the teams, but the ones that have the big coaches would have been after that, like
Yeah. Yeah.
trying to
Well,
get him.
Donovan's on the market looking for a job. Alvin Gentry's on the market looking for a job. So there are a lot of vacancies.
There are.
And, you know,
I think Donovan is an attractive coach. He had a lot of success in Oklahoma
Mhm.
City, and
Mhm.
certainly this most recent year,
certainly
what he did would have been considered a what he did this year would be considered a pretty big success. I mean, taking
oh,
that
yeah.
Oklahoma City team to the success that they had.
No question.
Yeah.
No question.
Who else is on the mark? Jason Kidd would be a consideration, right?
Yeah. He's an assistant right now, but there are a lot
He's
of
got a-
assistants on
he's
the
got a
LA
good-
teams.
Good
I mean, Ty Lue. I mean,
job.
yeah, he does.
Ty Lue.
He does. Well, and the interesting thing is again, there are just a lot of coaches who got removed.
Yeah.
I mean, Brett Brown's gone in Philly. Chicago's head coach.
Jim Boylan.
Yeah, poor guy. But it's interesting. It's interesting. We'll have to see what shakes out in terms of coaches. Yeah,
Yeah.
but
See where? I mean,
what was that?
obviously Nash.
Mhm.
Nash is with the Nets. What do you expect out of them this next year?
It just depends on health, man. You know what I mean? We both know that what KD's coming back from is tough. I mean, an Achilles is
It's so
really, really tough.
Yeah.
But what's nice for him is that he's a great shooter. So again, granted he's a tall guy, he's an athletic guy, but it helps for him and Clay that a tremendous part of their game is outside shooting, which tends not to be, obviously your maybe confidence changes with an injury, but hopefully the form and everything is it's just like riding a bike.
You hope so. Yeah. I think for Clay, coming back from ACLs is a lot easier these days. So I think his form will be right back with KD. That is, you're so right. With such a devastating injury,
Mhm.
that's gonna be it's gonna be tough to come back from. But I guess if we're moving forward with them fully healthy,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how you game plan against that team.
With
Um,
the Nets,
the Nets. I mean, it's such an interesting
yeah.
roster
I mean,
makeup. If they could
Irving,
add a piece
Levert,
or two, Dinwiddie, Levert,
Joe Harris,
Irving, it's a very compelling
Jared
roster.
Allen. Yeah.
You definitely want to put them top four. I guess with Miami becoming a big player, though, you start looking at all the rosters. You're like, where do they fit in? You know, the
Mm-hmm.
Bucks, the
Mm-hmm.
Heat, Toronto, Boston's only going to get better because Tatum
Yeah.
and Brown are just
Yeah.
getting better and better
Well,
by
we
the
don't know
game,
where.
it seems.
Yeah. Well, we don't know where free agents will go. Right.
Yeah,
I mean, imagine this. I don't know how they would swing. They'd have to certainly move a lot of pieces, which they probably could. Knowing them, they have a great front office. But imagine if somehow Giannis ended up in Boston, traded to Milwaukee for God knows what. They have a ton of young talent. They obviously wouldn't touch giving up, you know, Tatum or Brown, but I don't know if they do Williams, Ojale, and a lot of draft picks if they still have those, or you know what I
right.
mean. Just
It's an option.
Langford, Edwards. Obviously they're not a Giannis, but I'm saying maybe they can package a deal for that. And if you have
Good
Giannis
Lord.
starting as a 5, I know
Oh,
it's
no
uncharacteristic for
chance
him,
for the
but
league.
wow, wow.
I'm wondering if Gordon Hayward has any value in the league right now. He's
Yeah,
had a rough 2 years, and I
he
kind of feel like
has.
he's
He has.
viewed
He's had a rough time of it.
as kind of uh, not a bust, but just not what he could have been.
Washed, maybe.
Washed a little bit, yeah.
Yeah,
Just because of that
yeah.
injury too. Because before that, he was great.
Well, the injuries, when they add up, they suck. And speaking of value for a player, I was spending time with some great friends last night, and we were talking about these guys, the beloved,
Oh, the
um,
almighty power
and
of the pacer.
that's, you'll never walk alone. And and well, we got to talking about Vic, and you know, I love him. I had a couple of classes with Vic, but the thing is like he his his kind of, I feel like, sense of pride in our team and just wanting to be here. And I don't know. You know, again, it's not like I'm like talking to him or like the inside scoop or some
We
shit.
got to get somebody on the inside.
Yeah, Vic.
Or
Hey,
work.
this great.
Work on Jeremiah Johnson.
Yeah, there we go,
Info out of
Jay.
him next time.
What are they
JJ,
doing?
what's up? Just shove a microphone in.
You know him. You know who he is.
You know who it is?
I'm looking for him. You know.
Yeah,
who he
heard
is?
him. Where is he?
No, but I have actually. I appreciated you saying I called the Heat right before.
Yeah.
Trust me in this that I'm calling this right as well. Trade this man before he leaves, so you get something for him.
I
And
think. Go
And
ahead.
if you trade him now, the thing is that like I feel like if you trade him for, I would even love to get 2 good draft picks and draft really good young players, so
Okay.
we actually have for once kind of a future in place.
Yeah.
Because the Pacers are just not good at drafting. Like we lucked into Paul George.
So
We
why do you
traded
trust us to
Kawhi
get some draft picks and actually make good moves out of them?
because I think our front office is better now.
I do too. But who did we draft in this most Goga? Which
It was okay.
could be still could be good.
Yeah.
I kind of feel apprehensive or just cringy when I watch him play. He looks like he's playing at a different speed.
Goga?
Yeah, a little bit.
Well, he's a
But
he's
he's so
a
young though.
rookie.
He's so young.
Yeah.
It's impossible to know right now.
And when
But
you've seen him play, he's okay. I mean,
you
like
don't think that possibly as Pacer fans could be like maybe we're still spurned from the Paul George situation.
Oh,
So
we're
like
always spurned.
Vic indicates even slightly that he might, it might be a rift. And everybody in Indiana is like, oh, we got to get him out of here before he leaves us.
Yes.
Because Paul George left us. We're one big injury removed from him being the Elvis Presley of Indiana. Literally could do no wrong. Everybody loved him.
Listen to yourself.
I don't know. That reference literally came out of nowhere. I don't even.
But I love
Elvis
it. It's so true. Yeah,
the Las Vegas Elvis. Well, he's kind of flashy in a way, feathery.
No, I agree with that.
Fisher's
he sings.
Imports.
Did you know that?
Yeah, he does sing. He's good, man.
How about that? He's really good. He's not a phony. He's really good.
No, he's not at all. He's a real deal.
But you're so right, man. I mean, ultimately, like, when he came here, I think it was very kind of, and that's why one of my best buds that I was with last night said, like, it would be an indictment on the Pacers if this guy, a Hoosier, like, got brought up through college with us, like, had the opportunity to come back and make a name of himself in Indiana where we all love him, like, still is the one to leave. Then, like, but that's the reason why that's the reason why there's frustration, man. I can't even come up with anything, dude. My brain just was.
You're just like
the fury that would have poured out, dude. It would have been like Harry Potter, where they just have to do it silent because he's so bad at crying with the audio. It's just the agony, dude.
Like, we'll edit and post. This will be fun.
They make them think they're actually recording audio. They're like, all right, that was good.
That was shit. CGI tears on.
Hey, Dan in editing is working right now. Right, cool. No, but what do you do? I mean, like, ultimately, man, like, it would be. But that's the trouble with small market teams, and which is why I wouldn't mind trading him for either young players, like good young players,
because that's how you do it if you're a small market, right? Is you
man.
For the
Look at the Thunder
draft picks.
Look at the Thunder. Presti is a genius because they have draft picks forever now after trading George.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They have a ton, dude. Maybe we should trade him back to the Thunder. That would be so
grab
bad.
A couple of those picks.
Oh my God, we should. That'd be great.
A three-way trade. We get Paul George back. Okay, now we've been going for a while now. I want to get your thoughts, or just play a little game with you real quick.
Sure.
Let me get your top 3 performers in the playoffs so far. Who you got?
In the playoffs.
Yeah.
For a second, I had to distinguish between bubble and playoffs. It's
all the same.
Feel like I'm taking crazy pills. Jason Tatum is a stud. Woo. And has just been lights out. I mean, he's, again, you see it in young players. What year do they make that next step? Mm-hmm. You know, I think Kemba, is credit to how good of a leader you talk about Chris Paul with the young players in Oklahoma. People love playing with Kemba in the league, and they've always said that. Coaches, and he's a likable guy. I mean, again, at least how it appears. So, but Tatum is really balling out.
Yeah. Tatum's been incredible so far. Let me see if I can pull up his numbers.
Jimmy Butler, again. Dude, Butler has been incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been incredible. By the way, it's a close game between Toronto and Boston right now in the 4th.
Holy shit. How much time is left?
7 minutes left. Right, Toronto up by 2.
We got to get the fuck out of here. You're going to have to tell me. So you got Tatum and Butler, right?
Yes. And Butler's just been unbelievable, man. And then the other one that I would say, has got to be Jamal Murray. Man,
Mm.
Jamal Murray
He's going to go
has
out, probably.
likely, but Jamal Murray has just proven, and all credit to Donovan Mitchell as honorary.
Yeah, for real. For
Yeah,
real.
yeah.
In
I mean,
memoriam.
that was one of the better series I've seen just between two individuals in a long time. It was incredible.
Just an unbelievable series between the two of those
Yeah.
guys.
What
Just
about you
back
three?
and forth. And then in game 7, they decided to play some defense. It was one of the ugliest games
It was
that's
very
ever
ugly.
existed. But I
It was
kind of
very
liked it. I was kind of
ugly.
like, all right. So you guys do know you've just been choosing not to, okay?
That's crazy.
So you can't.
So you can't. I got you.
So here's Tatum.
Jake. Uh-huh.
Here's Tatum in his third playoffs. And I remember his first playoffs where he dunked on Braun, right?
Yeah, kind of
People were
bumped him.
super
That
into
would for
that.
sure be a T now.
Yeah. Oh my
Would have
gosh.
been a technical, a flagrant. They'd have to go to the video.
His numbers are great this playoffs. He's averaging 24.4 points per game, 9.4 rebounds, 3.4 assists per game in the playoffs, almost a steal per game. Let's see here. Yeah. Shooting 45.7% from field goal percentage. Almost 40 from 3 though. He's doing great.
He's so smooth offensively.
So
I mean,
good.
he's just so smooth, man.
Yeah, unreal. Well, let's get you off here so we can watch this game. But it's been unbelievably great talking to you again, my man. We got to do this real soon.
Yeah,
this worked out
absolutely.
really well.
I do too. It was perfect. Zoom, hey, how's it going?
Zoom, shout out Zoom. Shout out Rick Ross.
Shout out Rick Ross, of course.
Kind of unrelated.
I love it. But one thing I did want to say,
Yeah.
First of all, it's before we do wrap up, it is wonderful, wonderful, my man. I got so much love for you that we were actually able to make this happen.
Right.
It's been a long time coming, and
this is
several.
This is the one, man.
This is the one.
I promise you, this is the one.
Unbelievable.
Tonight it's getting put up. I promise.
Is this live? Are we on?
We'll do it live. Straight to the internet.
We'll do it live.
I think I'm gonna edit this shit.
I'll write it and then we'll do it live. No, but real talk, that's cool as hell. But also, what I was gonna say, and I wanted, my idea was to kind of do this for everyone we had, is to encourage whoever, hopefully someone like Pat Miner, Chris Burns, whoever, to consider potentially guesting on one of our podcasts at some point, because it's real as hell for you and I to do it, but getting a guest on would just be sick as hell. And shit, I mean, with Zoom, maybe we can just,
I don't think it'd be a problem at all.
The wonders of technology.
Super easy. Yeah, I'm sure Thomas would be down as soon as we wanted. So let's do it again soon, and we could really get a thing going.
Excellent, buddy.
Such a good call. All right, buddy. I'll talk to you next time.
Perfect.
Later, buddy.
Take care, bud.
Bye.
Bye.